Erik Jones said he wants to stay at Petty GMS, so what does that mean for the rest of silly season? Coming up next. What is going on, everybody? If I haven't earned your subscription, hopefully today is the day that I will earn that subscription. All right, Erik Jones told Bob Pockrass that he is hopeful that he will stay at Petty GMS because he likes the organization and he likes Dave Ellens. So, if he wants to stay at Petty GMS, it's pretty safe to say that Petty GMS will probably try to re-sign him. In fact, they are in talks, but he says it's probably 3 months away from anything possibly being official. But what does that mean for the rest of the free agents in silly season? So there are 3 big names whose contracts we know will be up at the end of the year. Kyle Busch and Martin Truex, of course, and Ricky Stenhouse. So let's start first with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, in my opinion, most likely will stay at JGR and Toyota because, one, he is a once-in-a-lifetime type of talent. So that cannot be overlooked. I don't think that they would let a guy like that get away. Can you imagine Joe Gibbs letting a guy get away and Kyle Busch with a chip on his shoulder trying to prove a point to JGR? Also, he runs the basically truck development team for Toyota, so Toyota doesn't want to let that get away from him because they wouldn't want to have to rebuild that situation. Look at what the situation Ford's in the truck series right now. They're having a hard time, getting a solid team together. They just don't have it together in the truck series like Toyota does right now. Actually, a few people have it together like Toyota does. KBM is a really good truck series team, so I don't see him leaving. But if he left, obviously he could go anywhere he wanted to. He would be the type of driver where Junior Motorsports might make that big jump to come up, or 2311 would expand to keep him in that sort of Toyota family. So he's the type of driver where that expansion could happen, but I will get into how those guys could expand later. Martin Truex. Martin Truex is an interesting one here. His contract is up, and he told Bob Pockrass as well that he is going to take as much time as possible to decide what he wants to do. And of course, there are 3 options, right? He could stay there because he said he loves working with his guys and fighting to get better. So he could stay there, and obviously his sponsors are expected to stay with him, so he brings sponsorship, so that's another guy. He could just flat out retire and just say, hey, this is it. I've done what I wanted to do. I got my championship. I got a whole bunch of wins. I'm just ready. I'm ready to move on. And the third thing is he could move on, and he is once again another guy that could move, get Junior Motorsports or 2311 to expand and move on. And that is actually quite possibly something he's probably really thinking about doing. I don't think he wants to retire yet. I think he's more leaning towards, should I move on? And if he moves on, I think the bigger issue with him is not where he goes. It's more or less, are enough of his guys going to go with him? Can he get enough of his guys to go with him to still feel like he's fighting? Like, how many of those guys would he need to move with him to feel like he's still in the fight? Could he get Cole Pearn to come out of retirement? That is an option not a lot of people have talked about, but could he lure Cole Pearn out of retirement to work for another team? Sort of a Tom Brady Buccaneers situation. And then there is Ricky Stenhouse, who is in all kinds of limbo because JTG Doherty has said that they are looking for possibly a buyer if the right buyer came along. If not, they'll keep trucking and doing what they're doing. And also Ricky Stenhouse's contract is up at the end of the season, and he has had an atrocious start to this season. So sitting in the lower 20s in points, is he even an option that anybody is looking at right now? Probably not. And then there's Aric Almirola. We know for sure he's retiring, so that opens up a seat at SHR. And the popular thought is, obviously, Ryan Preece is going to take that seat. But if you get a free agent, I don't think they would take Stenhouse because Tony Stewart has already said Stenhouse tore up too much equipment. I had to get rid of him in the dirt stuff. So I think Stenhouse would be out, but I think they would definitely go after Martin Truex. And obviously, if Kyle Busch was available, they would definitely go after Kyle Busch, because Tony Stewart and Gene Haas like winners, much like Chip Ganassi did. So either of those guys, if they become a free agent, you can plug them right in to SHR. But also you have to look down lower. Obviously Ty Gibbs is going to stay in a Toyota, but another guy you could look at to jump in that seat would be a guy like Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson could definitely fill in that 10 car if they don't want to put Ryan Preece in. But I think if they can't get Martin Truex or Kyle Busch, I think they would immediately plug Ryan Preece in. That is what he is there for. So I think it is safe to say, unless Truex wants to go to SHR, because I think Kyle Busch is staying, I think Preece will be the driver for the SHR car. That being said, there are still 4 potential seats that could be open. The first 2 are seats that right now are full-time rides with part-time drivers. That would be Spire Motorsports and Colleague. Now, Colleague could easily put any of those drivers in that part-time car. That part-time car has run really good. It's run right up there with Justin Haley most races. Some races it's actually finished in front of him, so that car is very competitive. They could put any really talented driver they want to in that car. So that is one seat. You could see a guy like Noah Gragson, Daniel Hemrick, basically anybody in the lower series could move into that seat. There's one seat. Another seat is the Spire 77. Now, that is the seat that I think Junior Motorsports would buy into. So I could see Junior Motorsports buying into Spire because they're basically already working with them. And if they wanted to move Martin Truex in there, that would be where they moved Martin Truex if he became available as a free agent. That would bring funding and all that. Also, if they wanted to move up with Noah Gragson, which would be the young guy I think Junior Motorsports would move up with, that would be a good seat for him as well. And of course, if they wanted to buy JTG Doherty, that would be their second team. Spire would become a 3-car team. It would be like Junior Motorsports Spire or something like sort of like the Petty GMS deal. So that would be the move, I would think, if Junior Motorsports is coming up. And of course, Junior Motorsports looking at coming up was from Adam Stern. That's not me just making stuff up. For all the people who are like, you're just making stuff up. That is from Adam Stern. He tweeted that, not me. So that, I think, would be the move if Junior Motorsports wanted to come up, buy into Spire, and if they wanted a second team, buy out JTG Doherty. And I think they could do that if somebody like Martin Truex or Kyle Busch came over with money. And people are already like, oh, heads are exploding. Junior would never sign Kyle Busch, or if Junior signed Kyle Busch, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I saw a lot of that in the comments. So, yeah, for sure, that would be interesting. But I think Kyle Busch is going to stay. The fourth one in this mix that nobody has really talked about a whole lot would be 2311 expanding to a third team, and that's where you could shift over somebody like Martin Truex or Christopher Bell and put Ty Gibbs over there in the Gibbs organization, and then 2311 would have that third car, because obviously if you saw the plans for 2311, their building is big enough to house 4 cars, so they eventually plan on being a 4-car operation. And all right, I think I've talked about it enough. Let me know down below what you think about the silly season. I'm glad Erik Jones is coming back to Petty, most likely. But let me know your thoughts on it. If you made it this far, feel free to subscribe down below. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. If you want to support the channel, I've added mugs to the store, and the link is in the description. Thanks for your time, guys.